Welcome to the inner workings of the Not So Genius Mind. I'm Amanda McCombs, the Not So Genius, your Mrs. Daybreak, and I have with me Mrs. Utah County. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at all of your sashes. Look at you! Oh man!
A lot of work.
Beautiful! Holy smokes, with your headshots up above. Anyway, she is my sash sister. I'm introducing you. My sash sister in the business of people running a family business with her husband. Man, and was it you that wrote that cookbook with your daughters? Yes, we'll talk about that more. And she's a mom of three amazing girls. We were just talking about your youngest is 10. Ballroom and hip hop dance fanatic, like you like to dance them.
Yeah, and I teach them.
Help a girl out,
Yeah.
please.
In advance.
And the last one, you said you're my biggest fan. I love you so much, Clarissa.
So happy to be here. So happy to be here with you. I mean, already, Amanda, your journey it's been what? We've known each other for a little over a year and a half. And like your journey has been inspiring and very, very visual to me that there is proof people can change and proof that what we go through can either destroy us or refine us and make us stronger and better. Like you are living proof of that.
Yeah. I think you probably met me when I was at one of my lowest of lows. Because Jess is the one that invited me to do the pageant, and she had no idea what I was going through. Like nobody did. I was really good at hiding it. Like a lot of us are, right?
Yeah, serious.
Real. But we just had that workshop. When was it? It wasn't even a workshop. It was the Favorite Things Christmas party, I think. And you left me that message, and afterwards I was like, nobody has ever talked to me like that. I've never had a community of women where I've just felt like I could be safe, right? So, like we're 2 minutes in and I'm crying.
Love it. I love it.
You're so incredible to me, and you've just been an amazing example. And the whole time I've been doing this pageant thing, like this is my second year. And now I'm looking, is it your fourth?
It's my fourth.
And so like people are so surprised that women keep coming back, but we keep coming back because of the relationships we have. We come back because of the sisterhood and because it helps lift each other up.
Yeah. I know of no other organization that I have been aware of. I mean, I'm sure there are things like this in other sectors, but like you will never find women who are working on themselves, working in the community to make it better, and cheering each other on within that realm.
Yeah.
Right.
It's never been me against you. It's like, wow, look at how amazing you are. Look at how amazing you are. What can I do to help you? We're sharing dresses, wardrobe, whatever, tips and tricks. Like nothing's a secret. We're not keeping anything hidden. We're helping each other. Like it's a true vision of empowerment, right?
Yeah,
And
it
people
really
think
is.
like world peace, and it's not the April 25th stuff.
Right. But to a certain extent,
it kind of is.
You have to extrapolate that out because it is. Mm-hmm. That is what we want, but we recognize that it has to be done through little pieces, not the full spectrum of world peace, but like each individual woman recognizes that that's what she wants overall, but her portion is her purpose in that period of time, in that small bubble that she has influence over.
Yeah. Well, and every single woman I've met in this pageant, they all just have incredible stories to share, and they're all driven to do good, whatever good it is. And I think some of us, like last year, was like, oh my gosh, deer in the headlights. I didn't realize what I had really signed up for until like
It's over.
it was over. And then I was like, oh my gosh, it goes on to Mrs. America. You can
Yeah.
get prizes. I didn't even think about winning anything. Like my thought going into it was not winning. It was, what the heck is this? I'm
Yeah.
along for the ride. And it was healing. We need
I agree
that.
to that.
Yeah. And I was talking with somebody, a friend yesterday. I got invited to Zumba and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go to Zumba. I haven't done it in years. And then she was like, oh, it's at a church. And I was like, because I don't go to church, right? I have a very strenuous relationship with like church buildings. I'm very worried that I walk in and they're gonna like burst into flames because of me. Um, but I went in and everyone was so like welcoming. And I cried to her afterwards because we've lost our villages.
I think that's one of the reasons why I teach hip hop, because that is community.
Yeah.
When we and I have ladies who can't even speak English who come to my class, and it truly is that dance is this universal language that empowers us because we are mastering control over this individual that we have. We have to practice letting go in order to fully feel the
Yeah.
music and feel those moves. And I have to laugh because I teach. One of my classes is actually at a church, but it's free and it's community and anybody can come.
Yeah.
That's just
It's
the
fun.
medium in which we're able to do that. But
Yeah.
you'll never find a more amazing group of ladies, right, than those who go to that community to make friends and to welcome others.
Well, I walked in and I was a little worried just because um I have a hard time. Sorry, I'm gonna cry again.
You're good. You're good, Amanda.
I have a hard time knowing if somebody genuinely wants to be my friend
Yeah.
because I've been so hurt in the past. I've had people that have totally betrayed me and pretended to be my friend, and I was alone for a long time. I didn't have a sisterhood. And when I moved into my new community, it was during COVID, like right before COVID. It was
Yeah,
2019, and then
that's hard.
COVID happened. And it's hard for me to make friends because people are scary. And I don't know if I'm like actually for real being invited or they really want me being there because I've been told I'm too much or
Right.
whatever, right?
Right. So you come up against the barrier of, will I be accepted for who I am?
And this pageant and I think when I said it to you is how I was kind of figuring out how to say it, right? Because I was so broken. Like all your broken and shattered pieces are all over the floor, right?
I've been super quiet.
I love it. No, all your broken pieces are all over the floor. And you have to even figure out what they mean and if you even want them before you can put them back together. And I didn't even know what my favorite food was. I'm like trying to think of like the different questions and like just basic things. Tell me about yourself. That's like one of the first pageant questions that
Yeah.
they ask you
Yeah.
in your interview, and you only have so much time, and you can't just be like like you have to know who you are, and you have to
Yeah.
be like, this is who I am, and it's okay if people don't like me. And this pageant like taught me that I could like it grounded me so that I'm like more aligned with my own purpose and I'm not thinking about what everybody else thinks about me because that's exhausting. We can't do that because all of this isn't for them, it's for me, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that what I have noticed, because it's been multiple years for me,
Yeah.
is to choose to accept the new me every time.
Yeah.
Because each one of these years I can look back and things have been so different. And so if I was still the person from the first year, uh, there would be issues.
Yeah, right?
And I think you recognize that now. I mean, when I saw you at that party, at the favorite things party, it had been what, like 6 or 7 months since we had seen each other in person. And, I texted you and I was like, look, you are totally different, still the same, but like there was something so different about you, so peaceful, so grounded,
Yeah.
so open, secure. I think that would be a word that I would use, just very self-secure. And, if you were still what you were the first time you signed up for your first pageant last year, like,
I was
then the pageant
eating.
system or life wouldn't be doing its job.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't even eating. I was so depressed. It was right after my mom
Yeah.
passed away,
Yeah. Yeah.
like a couple weeks after her funeral. I
Yeah.
was like, no way. Me do a beauty pageant? Weirdo. Jess is crazy. Why would I do a beauty pageant? That's insane. And then I started like really thinking about it and was like, sure, why not? I think there's only one person that was like, are you nuts? But I just like I didn't know I needed a community and I needed just believed in me for some weird reason, right? Hold on. No. Ah. Um, I just saw her dancing in a pretty dress on Facebook. I wanted to see what it was about. And it healed me. And I met amazing, like you just have always been very self-assured and well-spoken. And I was so shy because I was so worried about what everybody thought about me. So then when people like you are like, I want to be your friend, I'm like,
Yeah, it
yeah,
really requires you to look at the boundaries that you placed on yourself for protection
yeah,
and learning to like let those go so that you can be that genuine self. Because what I have noticed is that this pageant system like requires a genuine self.
yeah. You cannot be in it just to like be pretty. You
Yeah.
need to be
Well,
real.
and I don't know about other systems, but from what I have seen of
Yeah,
other systems, you could maybe get away with not being your genuine self.
yeah, yeah,
But how the directors of the Mrs. Utah pageant work, I mean, I haven't been to nationals, so that's something so different, or worlds or
yeah.
whatever, but like our directors of this pageant pull that genuine self out.
We, well, and I love that we can get together and that we have our community that we can be chatting and we can be helping each other and motivating each other. Because I've never felt undercut and I've never seen anybody undercut anybody else. It
Yeah.
is the most genuine group of amazing women I've ever met. So now I want to back up because let's go back to year one. What made you
Okay.
sign up? How did this journey even
Oh
begin?
man. So let's see. My middle daughter is 13 years old. When she was still an infant in her car seat, my husband and I, so I had one older daughter and then her.
Mhm.
And we were up in Ogden. We had just moved up to Ogden, bought our first home, and we were driving down Main Street in Ogden, and we passed the theater. I think it's called the Egyptian Theater that's up in Ogden.
Oh, yeah.
And on the marquee, it said Mrs. Utah, June something. That's all I can remember. And I have that visual in my head. And my husband, he looked at me and he's like, you should do those. You should do one of those sometime. And I was like, yeah, right. Like, okay. And,
That's a
I
funny
thought
joke, babe.
about, yeah, I had kind of thought about my teenage years and just not quite getting the parental support for doing anything like that. I think I love my parents. I have such a great relationship with them, but they only knew what they only knew, and they were trying to do their best. And that was just not something that was in their vision of what they wanted out of their daughter.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
And I respect that. And I know that my girls are probably going to have the same feelings about me when they're, 29, 28, 29. And they're probably going to look back and be like, mom, but I'll be like, look, at that time, at that period, these were the decisions that we had made. And that's great in parenting. It's all about forgiveness. I tell you, it's all about forgiveness. But
Just live your
so I
life.
had thought, so I had wanted to do that as a teenager and as a young girl. I mean, I watched pageants growing up. I watched Miss America and Miss USA when they were on TV. And, I just love all of that, the dresses and the glam, and didn't really know anything about the back end. Well, fast forward to 2021.
Oh,
And I had just finished teaching. So it had been 10 years since that conversation that my husband just planted that seed of like, you should do one of those someday.
like very casual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had just finished teaching a hip hop class, and I got into my car and I was posting about my class. And I distinctly heard the words in my head, it's time.
It's time.
And I knew exactly what that was. I knew I had that flash of that marquee and my husband holding my hand in that car and the car seat in my peripheral vision in the back. And I knew exactly what that was for. So that's how it happened. I didn't know there were other pageant systems. I didn't know how that worked. Like I had no idea. All I knew was that I had an acquaintance who had done a pageant the year before, and she had posted about it. And so that I contacted her and said, I need to do this. Where do I sign up? And she, was like, well, you got to wait a little bit. Signups don't start until October. This was probably like June,
Uh-huh.
May, June. And so I had to wait. And, in the meantime, I was on the Mrs. Utah America page, just looking. I had probably emailed our director Di and was like, hey, I want to sign up. When do I get to start? Like I was like pretty ahead of the game. Like I felt like this was important and I needed to get it done, but I didn't understand that whole waiting period. Anyway, so that's how I ended up here, was just the one seed, the one time in a suggestion by somebody passing by that germinated for 10 years before I just knew that it was time for me to try that. That season of my life had come, right? And the rest is history.
Oh my goodness.
And it's history in the making still,
Right.
that journey.
Well, and
Yeah.
you keep coming back every year. So the first year when you didn't win, were you discouraged and like, man?
Yeah, I was, but every year has been different in my growth and my experience. The first year, of course, I was disappointed, but like I made second runner up my very first pageant ever.
Nice.
So I was kind of like, well, I didn't win, but like that's pretty darn good. I didn't understand the pageant letdown. So for any of your listeners, when you do a pageant, there's so much ramping up to that event that when it's over and everything is fizzling out, there is kind of this heavy lull. in energy, in capacity, in, I mean, we spend so much time together and then suddenly it's like an entity that is dissolved. And you're kind of like these friendships, if you haven't established friendships, you kind of lose them in
Yeah.
this support system and this structure and this, everything that you're working towards is for this pinnacle pageant point. Nobody ever taught me about that. So post pageant one was the letdown was very big because I didn't understand that and wasn't prepared for that. But my thoughts were like, hey, I did really well my first one. Let's try again.
Mm-hmm.
Also, within that first year, post pageant, I recognized that it was a really good thing I didn't win because I didn't know what winning would require of me.
That was my exact thought when I was it was actually like I was sitting backstage, like I knew I wasn't gonna win. Have you seen those ladies? I went in, deer in the headlights, no
You
idea
had
what
no
I was
idea.
doing. I was just kind of there to like be there and to experience it all. And I was like closing my eyes because, I mentally prepare and then I just like black out, go on stage, come back. And
Right.
you don't
That is
remember
a
anything.
real
You're just
thing.
like, you just
That
go
is a real
do it,
thing.
right?
Yep.
But
Yeah.
the crown felt heavy on my head. And I was like doing mental whatever. And I was like, it's not for me this year. It's not time for me yet. Um, I found out
Was that
later.
peaceful for you?
Yeah. Well, and that was even before I didn't win. I was
Right.
still
Well,
cheering and clapping for like everybody
isn't there
else. But it
isn't
was
there
like,
something to be said about having the knowledge that you're not going to win before
oh
you
yeah,
learn that? Because then when you go on stage, you recognize like, all right,
it's less
what
pressure.
is, who am I going to be? And the person that I want to be and show up for these other ladies. Like you have that choice way before the moment of your name not being called.
Yeah. Well, and I knew my name wasn't gonna get called. I knew I bombed my interview. Like I was I didn't even talk about my platform. Like I was so nervous. And afterwards, I actually like I'm friends with Robin now. And she was one of her, and it's like, oh my gosh, she was like Mrs. International something, something, something.
Yep.
She's beautiful. She has a clothing line, and there's like all these other connections that you get to make. And they're good, beautiful, genuine people, and they like actually want to be my friends. They're pretty and they're nice, and they're not spreading rumors about me and trying to take me down. They're like, we're all lifting each other up.
Every year of judges I've had, I've been impressed with the majority of them
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and follow them and still keep in touch with some of them, one or two every year.
Well, they're incredible. They bring incredible people. I was looking
Yes.
at because Mrs. World is tonight. I'm coming down to your watch party.
Are
I
you?
was gonna fly
Awesome.
down, but I was busy yesterday getting the not sparkly crowns put in my
Oh, I
face.
have those too. Yeah.
I just got two done yesterday. And it just took forever. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna fly down. I want to go down and see Jamie. And my husband's like, are you gonna leave me here with this zoo? And I was like, I'll just go down and then watch the pageant and then come back. And he's just looking at me. He's like, you're nuts.
Well, it will be fun. It's super casual tonight.
But
So,
like all of these women that are involved that at least that I know personally are just they're so incredible. And every year they're just
do have to say that because I've done it so much, I recognize that this is not the only way.
yeah,
There are so many other things that you can get involved in. And I think that's what the pageant has really opened up to me is like your life, how we serve, our purpose, our platform is not solidly only contained in here. And we
No.
have to be careful of that because, the first year, that's how it felt to me. Like, this is the only way I'm going to get this word out. And the only option for me, if I don't win, then I'm doomed. But I have recognized between year 2 and 3 and now 3 and 4, how this is just my choice. But in all reality, my platform can be spread by so many other organizations or opportunities. Like it just doesn't stop with this.
Um, has is your platform is Build It Beautiful, right?
They're beautiful. Yes.
Has it changed? What was it
Yeah.
before?
Yeah. So my first 2 years, it was about women's hormones and women's health. I was a health coach for women and their hormones. I taught them how to eat and exercise and give education on women's hormones. I was a health coach for 10 years.
I just barely got testosterone and
Oh,
estrogen implanted in my butt. I had a total hysterectomy.
yeah.
Like
Yeah. Then,
normal doctors don't.
yeah, we could talk for hours
Oh yeah,
about that.
but like women's
I
health is
still,
huge
I still
issue.
am a really big proponent of that. But my life between these 2 years, my life really changed. Um, you know,
Yeah.
I was I was going through a lot of health problems for because of lack of hormones, but I also was diagnosed with celiac disease. I closed my decade-old health coaching business because my husband and I are both very big entrepreneurs and we were growing our businesses and doing this.
Oh,
And so I shifted and sacrificed to save my marriage.
yeah.
So that happened. I was experiencing physical problems. So I was teaching classes every day, fitness classes every day. And I only went down to like one a week because I was so sick and experiencing such bad pain in my body. I had lots of friendship changes because I was closing my business, because I was leaving my studios, and going through, my kids were becoming teenagers. Like that in and of itself is a huge life change.
I have.
And so a lot happened between year 2 and 3. And to be honest, I probably should not have been in the pageant last year. After year 2, I felt like somebody put everything I had built on one end of a teeter totter and then hammered the other side, and it just flew. And nothing had started landing yet when I was going through last year. It was a really, really pageant year for me.
So sorry to hear that.
I was mentally not healthy, physically not healthy, really struggling with who I was and what I had to offer, because, what I had to offer, I had built for 10 years in these very strong years of pageant, and then just felt like I had nothing last year to offer.
Or anymore, kind of.
Which I would probably suggest to you, you probably didn't see that.
Mm-mm. I had no idea.
Just the same way that we're really good at hiding what we're going through.
You're so good at masking,
We are.
especially when we're in pain or we need help. We don't want other people to know that we're having a problem.
Yeah, I think that especially when you're going through long-term things, like I could be like, hey, I have COVID. And then 10 days later, I'm like, I won it. I conquered it. But
Yeah.
like when we're going through long-term, slogging through the trenches of humanity, we don't want to admit as humans that we are weak. And I think that goes back to survival of the fittest. Like it is in our nature to not talk about those things. I actually have really not talked about it very much. And I hope that, and I'm thankful for this opportunity because I kind of get to just stick my toe in a little bit to see where I'm at about sharing. because it has been extremely hard. But I finally feel like there are some building blocks that are starting to I feel this positive upward momentum of building in this new way, which is really interesting because I had my pageant platform of Build It Beautiful before I was even seeing the results of my own build again, because somebody came in and knocked it all down. Right? A lot of renovation was going on.
I feel like I'm still kind of going through that.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot, there's a lot that I have just tried to figure out what I even want. Like I quit teaching. I always
Notice
thought
that.
I wanted to be a teacher, but part of it is because my dad had almost passed away in April, and I knew it was going to happen, and that was going to hit me hard.
Mm.
And my mom had passed at the beginning of the school year, and I just realized after losing both parents, um, the what I'm leaving behind now, what I am leaving behind are the memories I'm making with them right now. So, what memories am I wanting to leave behind for my kids? Or, as my dad would say, like, what legacy are you leaving behind?
Yeah. Yeah.
And teaching was stressful. The shingles was
Oh, yeah.
all
Your
the
outward,
stress, and
the outward manifestation of all your inward.
my degrees, like, I just hung those up. One of those, two of those, hold on, wait. 2014, 10 years. It took me 10 years to hang up my degrees.
Mm.
Like, you don't, I kind of didn't feel like I could be all braggy about it and be like, look what I did, you know?
Yeah. Which I feel like going through pageantry, but I think it happens in our careers too in little bits. But I feel like pageantry is like this catalyst to exponentially make us look at our personal barriers
Yes.
and get the heck over them.
For real.
Like, like I just, in that way of like, wait, I can be proud of what I have accomplished and what I have gone through. And I can tell people what I have accomplished without looking like I'm bragging. It is because I can now confidently say, like, I have something to contribute to you because of what I've been through. My mess qualifies me to share with you and to serve you.
Yeah. Well, and it's like we're all so relatable, right? And we forget like these people have these incredible lives, and we see all their highlight reels, and we like with me, people kept talking about how resilient I am. You're so resilient. You're so resilient. You're so resilient. Well, I went through crap. You're forgetting all the crap that I had to go through. Like being resilient means you had to go through hard stuff. Like,
Yeah, it qualified you, it gave you that characteristic.
yeah. But then where was my support? Like, I still need support. Just because I went through a hard time and I am resilient doesn't mean I'm 100% okay now.
Right, right.
But it also
Well, we
doesn't
still
mean
need community. We still need connection.
it doesn't mean that um it also doesn't mean that I can't hold space for you and be there for your hard stuff.
Yeah. And depending on depending on where your capacity is, that also looks different per circumstances and per person too, right?
Well, and I think sometimes people get like with the pageant, I'm just kind of noticing from like an outside perspective a little bit, kind of an outside perspective. I don't know. Um, just because I've done it before and now there's some new people that I'm watching go through it. And it's like, what is the focus on? Like, what are they? Are they worried about the clothes? Or are they worried about the hair and makeup? Are they trying to push too hard? Are they showing up as themselves? Like, are you going over the top and stressing yourself out and showing up for things that you don't need to be showing up for because you feel obligated? Or are you doing it because it's part of your purpose, right? You don't have to go out of your way. And I think that's kind of hard for some of them to see. You don't have to like go out of your way and do some big, huge fundraising event or whatever. Like, you don't have to do that if you're just doing it for the pageant. Like, everything I'm doing now is um, in
What
things
you want to
to the pageant,
continue.
but it's what I
Yeah.
want to continue doing. And it kind of
Yeah.
helps me figure that out because, whoopsies, I did that backwards. My I'm not teaching anymore, but I have a master's in curriculum and instruction. So what the heck am I going to do now? I'm going to work with nonprofits and do public speaking and I don't know, whatever the heck I
Yeah, but even if you have that master's degree in that, at that time of your life, that's where you needed to be.
yeah.
There are some people who don't ever even use the degree that they were given, and their life takes them on this journey. We have to be so careful we don't stick ourselves to inside this box of this is who I am, and this is only who I am, and this is where I'll be.
Yeah. It's not fun
Like,
to
man,
stay in the box.
yeah, yeah. I think that I would hope, and this is where the pageantry gets a little bit sketchy.
Right?
And this is why you can't rely on the pageant to dictate your worth, because you go into some year. So 2 years I've had 5 judges, and the middle year I had 7. There were
Oh,
7 judges that year with so many interviews. It was a lot. But
oh.
if you go into these judges, I get 3 minutes to tell them who I am and what I'm about, right?
And you're up
And
against however many women.
right, if those judges don't see those who are genuine versus those who are not, if they don't have the talent to decipher between genuine talent or not genuine talent, because who knows who the judges are? We don't get to choose them, they're just
You
picked.
don't feel like,
Right. And they shouldn't know us either.
yeah,
But if they can't pick that out and they pick somebody who is underdeveloped and not ready for that, and that's on the judges. So there's a saying in pageantry, which you've heard from our directors:
yeah.
different day, different judge, different girl.
Yep.
And it truly is that. So if you're only doing things to make the pageant look good or your pageant run look good, but that's not really who you are, that person is going to have a really rough time coming off that pageant if they don't win.
Real.
And I believe
Understand.
that if they do win, they're going to have a really hard time continuing to push that 100% consistently, because as humans, we just cannot run at 100% all the time.
We can't. We
It's
need
this, right? It's just there's ebbs and flows. And if we're always showing up as perfect, we're going to really have a rough time showing up as perfect all the time.
That's how I ended up with shingles in my face because I was doing too much. And it was
Yeah.
because of like that. I needed to prove myself. I needed to show I could handle all the things and I could juggle everything.
Yeah. Well, and we feel pressured to do that, whether that's something we're conscious of or not. I think women specifically feel pressured because via our social media or even just in conversations with people around us, we see women pushing that limit. And we think that that is actually what is normal, when in all reality, that's not necessarily healthy. Just because we see that doesn't mean, I mean, just like you were pushing for that perfection, but then your body was showing that, like, hey, step back. And for me, I was pushing for perfection, and then my body had to renovate. My life had to renovate because I couldn't keep it up.
Sometimes it's okay to just knock everything down and start over. You have to have that like the solid foundation, the solid shelf, or everything's just gonna. And we have had, I don't remember what title holders it was, but there are a couple misses just recently that I think, that just stepped down because their values didn't align with the pageant system or whatever. And
Yeah,
they
we've
gave up
seen
their
that.
title. Yeah. But like this journey should be helping you catapult your life and what you're already doing. And you shouldn't be like, I want to win the crown, so I'm going to do this, 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 and this. And thank goodness we don't see that often in ours. Like our little
Yeah, our directors aren't
cute.
pushing for a winner. They're pushing to develop women. And I
Well, and
love that.
that's
There are other states that they push for winners.
yeah. Well, and I love the community that we've created
I do
because we
too.
want to get together every month.
I
And
do
the
too.
whole time I was like, that crown was too heavy. I knew it wasn't going to fit on my head. I knew it wasn't for me. But I was up on that stage and you bet your ass I was applauding like hell for every single person that was getting, because they worked hard. And it really is a celebration of how incredible
Yeah.
women are.
Well, I have always told people, and going through this system myself multiple years, I've told people like what you see on stage is maybe 5% of what they have done.
Yeah.
And we, as the contestants, know the 90%, 95% of what other contestants have done and watch them grow and change and develop. And I know there's a couple contestants this year that I'm enjoying watching their first time, like all the messy understanding and the lingo and the the butt glue and the boob tape, and I mean
Yes.
those things that make a difference in your in how you show up, just little things like that. And I love watching like the light bulbs start to turn on. But like in that system, when we're on that stage and they bring everybody out and they're announcing the winners, like of the costume and the winners of Miss Congeniality and the winner of the best interview, like
Um,
only those women on that stage and maybe key members of people's families know the refining that lady has gone through for the past 8 months to make it to that stage alone, right?
yeah.
So we have to validate each other by being each other's supporters that way. Because if it was only for the crown, we'd all stand up there and like poke our hip out and put our hands on our hips and just fold our arms and puff and puff. But like, I think we're validating we're validating that journey of those women by showing up for them, even though we know that crown is not going to be on our head that night.
Yeah. Well, and I was so lost last year with what to write because I had to write what they were going to talk about while I'm walking around on the stage. And I'm like,
Right away.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah. It's never been my favorite to talk about myself
But now
that
it's
way.
like, what do I want people to know about me? It's just kind of,
Mhm.
it's less intimidating. And right when it was over, well, I think everyone was worried that I was going to have like that big pageant letdown. I didn't. I was like, ugh, I'm so tired. I just felt like I had a
Right.
hangover. But emotionally, I was like, I grabbed Amanda Brady. She's like one of the former winners, or she grabbed me. I grabbed her. She grabbed me, one of the two. And I was like, I want to quit my job and do this again. And she was like, slow down. But I did. But not because of the pageant, because the pageant helped me realize that the direction my life was going is not the direction that I was meant to go. There's like a magnet that's pulling me, and I follow whatever that pull is. So now, because I've been able to do the pageant, I have some really cool opportunities. And I've been able to heal and really figure out like what the heck I'm doing, right?
Love that. And you know what? In 4 years, 5 years, that might not be the right pull anymore. Like we draw into these opportunities, and there it really is just a winding journey. This is not the end all be all for me, even like, and that comes full circle. Like there's so much more outside of this, that if this doesn't happen, I'm just thankful I was able to be part of it to give me the next opportunity.
Yeah. I'm thankful because because of my sash, I've been able to meet some really incredible people and make some connections. And we need that.
There's power
We
in
need
that
those
sash.
connections and
Yeah.
we need that village. We need that community. So I think it's kind of helping women catapult. It's like that. What is it? It's kind of like a MLM, but not really. But for good things.
It's incredible how we are pulling
It's just
like-minded
right.
women to be together. Yes, there is something to be said about you become like the people you hang around.
Mhm.
And I talked a little bit with you here about how my life upended.
Mhm.
Well, deciding if I wanted to do the pageant this year, this was my decision, because things had changed so much, and because I was now lacking a tribe, because I lost my students and my studios and my clients who were becoming friends. I made the decision to do the pageant this year because I knew that if I wanted to be successful, I needed to be around women who wanted to be successful. And this was where I decided to go.
Yeah. Well, and now, because you're not doing your classes anymore, is this where you started with BYU?
Doing mentoring?
Yeah.
No, I think I would have done that anyway. Um, BYU mentoring did not come out of my sash at all,
So tell
which is really interesting. But it has stemmed some opportunities when people look at my profile to then further engage with me. So it has led to opportunities. But I was telling you before we started recording, so maybe I'll explain this a little bit. I mentor BYU students, and they can contact me through it's called BYU Connect. Any BYU student in any of the locations, so Idaho, Hawaii, Ensign College in Salt Lake, and then BYU Provo. Anybody who is a student or is an alumni, they have this networking program. And I signed up for that and was probably one of the first 50 users of that. And students contact me, and I get to give them advice. They see I've owned multiple businesses. They see I was in the business school, but also that I do dance. And then, they see my profile picture with my sash, and that has led to, like I said, other opportunities. But when this opportunity to be a mentor came up, all I could think about was how much I could have used a mentor when I was 18 years old and 19 years old and 20 years old, the 5 years I was in college. Even when I was married and still in college, I could have used a mentor to say, like, hey, I've been where you've been. I'm 10 to 15 years out of school, and these are the things I would have done different.
Yeah.
Or these are the things I would have taken advantage of, or these are the things I wouldn't have worried about so much.
Yeah.
And so I get to do that. I actually met with a student who is doing online studies through BYU. It's called BYU Pathways. And
Oh,
he was in Zimbabwe.
what?
This was just last week. Yeah. So
Okay.
I met a student from Zimbabwe who is trying to get any sort of smaller degree so that he can open his own coding company from Zimbabwe to be able to support a future family. And he was in a cafe paying for internet by the hour to be able to meet with other BYU alumni to learn from them what their experiences have been. So I feel this pull that no matter what I learn in life, I have a responsibility to share what I learn with other people to better their lives, because I didn't have that myself. And I've always felt that way. When it came to my health, I'll share anything about hormones and women's health because I went through my own trials. I'll share anything about business because, man, I wish somebody would have told me how to start a business instead of me having to figure it out on my own. Like, all of the things that I have learned on my own, we have a responsibility as humans to help somebody else out.
I'm going to tell you something crazy. My dad used to work at BYU. That's where he retired. He went to school there for a long time. He graduated with his MBA, and then he went and did like other business things, right?
Mm.
But he retired from BYU, and his job was being a recruiter for graduating MBAs.
Awesome.
So he like would travel around the world and connect businesses with students.
With the MBA program. Yeah.
And
Because
his favorite thing was doing retreats, but like rafting, whitewater rafting and hiking and stuff.
adventure retreats. Yeah. There is something to be said about doing something hard in nature that it patterns us for better resilience in the business world or in our normal everyday lives, right?
Real.
That's really cool, Amanda. I think that the MBA programs are really incredible. My husband went through the executive MBA program, where you're not looking to land a big job. You have a job already and have been in that job for a time. And then, you go through this MBA program to help you be better in your position. And it was the most incredible experience to watch. It was kind of like what we do in pageantry, that self-growth and self-change within that was incredible for my husband to go through and us as a family. So
It's amazing. Yeah, they have a really incredible program there. I didn't realize what he did because I got to write some of his life sketch. That's what it was called. Me and my three sisters all stood up there and talked about different parts of his life. And I got to talk about his business, whatever. But I knew him as the scary guy in the office, He was always in his den and he was always working, and I didn't want to bother him. But
yeah,
like when he got older and like I was out of the house and all kinds of things, he was able to really be my dad again, and like show up how he wanted to, which was really cool.
yeah,
The
yeah.
legacy.
I think that there's so much more to our parents than we realize until they're gone and we discover the sides of them that in our innocence we missed.
Yeah.
Right, in our own needs or in our own perspective we missed of them. When my mother's parents passed away, she found this beautiful file full of all the love letters that they had written back and forth to each other, and she said it really opened my eyes to the relationship that I didn't get to see. That's what she said, like i
Actually,
didn't know I didn't know that they were that invested romantically with each other because I didn't see that. Right. And so I think about, what are my kids going to discover of me,
yeah.
when I'm gone, that they go, oh, there's more to this person than just mom. Right.
I'm gonna get ready to wrap up with you so you can get
Yeah.
up.
This is great. Yeah.
But two things. Um, I've been able to go through my mom's things, and I'm I'm the youngest of seven kids, and my parents divorced after being married for 40 years. So by the time I was around, they were not lovey-dovey on each other, like at all. I found their wedding album, and like when you're miserable, you're not going to pull out those pictures and look at them with
Yeah.
your kids, right? I had never seen them happy.
Wow.
I had never seen them like loving and kissing on each other or holding each other. He was like carrying her in a little. And so it's just kind of nice to like know that they really did care about each other. I also found
Yeah.
out my last thing, um, my mom did pageants a little bit.
That's so
And
cool,
so
Amanda.
I think that was her helping me heal.
Mhm.
Ooh, okay. Just a moment. My cleaners are here.
That's great. Well,
So
this is a good time.
tell us where we can
You are
find you.
okay. So you can find me at on Instagram. I have a Build It Beautiful Instagram, but I also have Mrs. Clarissa Thomas, and there's dots between each word in both of those handles. And I'll send this to you, and you can put it in your show notes. You can find my podcast at builditbeautiful.com and anything about me. We didn't get to talk about like my recipe book, but my girls and I put together a recipe book this past year, and you can find that you can order it on our site or on Amazon. They have a Kindle version on Amazon.
That's so cool. Maybe because I'm going to be recording with you soon, maybe we can talk about that a little bit, tiny bit on your podcast, or just come back.
Sounds lovely. It was a cute little project for me. And other than that, like I'm very, I mean, you can find me on Facebook, you can find me really anywhere. And I'm happy to share and be that mentor that people need. But also you're going to find things that are going to be uplifting, things that are going to be business oriented. And I try and just be super real. With what I post and what I share and showing all sides of humanity versus just a perfect side.
Well, we don't need to see just the highlight. Let's be real.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on and chatting with me and providing a space where we can connect. I love that.
you. Thank you. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
listening.